The stories of Enoch and Elijah are two of the most intriguing and mysterious in the Bible, primarily because they are the only two figures who, according to Scripture, did not experience death, but were taken directly by God. Both stories highlight the theme of divine favor, obedience, and righteousness. Enoch's story is brief but profound. He is mentioned in the book of Genesis, where it is written that he walked with God and was no more because God took him. Genesis 5:24. Enoch was the great-grandfather of Noah and lived 365 years, a relatively short life compared to others in his lineage. The Bible speaks highly of Enoch, stating that he lived a life of righteousness and close fellowship with God. In the book of Hebrews 11:5, Enoch is described as a man of great faith, pleasing God so much that he was taken to heaven without dying. One interpretation of why Enoch was chosen to be taken by God relates to his unique relationship with God. His walking with God symbolizes a life of continuous communion and righteousness. In Jewish tradition, Enoch is seen as a prophet who spoke against the wickedness of his time. His ascension is often viewed as a reward for his unwavering faith and purity of heart. Elijah's story is more detailed and occurs during a time of great spiritual unrest in Israel. As a prophet, Elijah confronted the idolatry of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, who had led Israel into the worship of Baal. Elijah's acts of courage and his unwavering dedication to the worship of the one true God made him a key figure in the Old Testament. Elijah's ascension to heaven is described in the second book of Kings, 2 Kings 2:11, where he is taken up in a whirlwind accompanied by a chariot of fire. Before this moment, Elijah passed his prophetic mantle to his successor Elisha, indicating that Elijah's mission was complete. This dramatic departure was seen as God's recognition of Elijah's faithfulness and commitment to his cause. The fact that Elijah didn't experience death is significant in Jewish and Christian theology. Elijah was seen as a prophet who had remained loyal to God despite great opposition and persecution. His ascent symbolizes God's approval of his righteous life and divine calling. Why were they chosen? Both Enoch and Elijah were chosen to move with God because of their extraordinary devotion, righteousness, and faith. They lived in times when humanity was often distant from God, and their lives serve as examples of how one can live closely with God, defy the surrounding corruption, and remain faithful even when others stray. For Enoch, his choice to walk with God for 365 years, a symbol of completion, shows that a life of righteousness can be so pleasing to God that death is bypassed. Elijah's ascension signifies God's acknowledgement of his service as a prophet, despite the fierce opposition he faced. These two men were taken because they exemplified a deep, pure relationship with God and served as instruments of his will in times of great spiritual darkness. In essence, their stories inspire believers to strive for a life that is pleasing to God, filled with faith, righteousness, and unwavering devotion. Their ascension to heaven also hints at the possibility of a divine relationship where the ultimate reward is a direct union with God beyond the bounds of mortal life.